Stop. Relax your jaw. Let your tongue fall away from the roof of your mouth and take one deep, deliberate breath into your lower stomach. You have been waking up exhausted no matter how many hours you sleep, feeling a strange pressure behind your eyes and experiencing sudden, unexplainable drops in your energy around certain people or places. You believe your body is breaking down, failing, or suffering from unexplained exhaustion, but these physical anomalies are actually high-frequency cosmic upgrades, rewiring your nervous system for your awakening. Your body isn't sick, it is simply shedding its dense 3D conditioning to recalibrate to your true starseed frequency. The urgency is now. The longer you resist these somatic shifts through fear, the longer you delay your alignment with the abundance and purpose you were sent here to claim. This isn't medical fatigue or psychological burnout. It is the silent, heavy friction of a cosmic awakening that your conscious mind hasn't been taught how to process. There is a profound, isolating feeling that your physical body is misaligned with your spiritual expansion, leaving you in a state of chronic freeze. You sit at the dinner table with family or old friends and feel physically exhausted by their conversations, as if you are speaking two completely different languages. By the end of this transmission, you will decode the exact symptoms your physical vessel is using to communicate this upgrade. You will understand how to anchor this high-voltage energy without shutting down your nervous system, and you will learn how to integrate this somatic friction into the deepest well of spiritual power you have ever known. You have already felt that the sudden heavy pressure in your chest isn't just anxiety, haven't you? What if this profound physical exhaustion isn't tied to your lack of sleep, but to the somatic friction of your starseed awakening? Perhaps you have already noticed that there is something keeping you in a state of energetic freeze, as if an invisible force keeps pulling you back into dense cycles. Now think with me. What if this somatic friction wasn't a sign of failure? What if the internal vibrations and the sudden aversions have been trying to manifest for years, but certain codes just haven't been understood? What if every moment of profound alienation and unexplained fatigue was a signal pointing to a mechanism much larger than you have yet seen? It was in seeking answers to this that I recommend to you this digital book called The 11 Arcturian Secrets Behind the Frequency of Success. This book is not just a reading, it is a material created for those who wish to understand the invisible mechanisms that influence results, prosperity, personal fulfillment, and growth. Throughout its pages, you will discover the exact Arcturian principles capable of transforming how you interpret your physical awakening. You will understand why some remain trapped in chronic fatigue, while others break through the somatic barriers and integrate their true power. Many people already feel they need to change something in the way they think, act, and direct their choices. But they still haven't made the decision to access this knowledge. Download it right now. It's available in the first pinned comment. But be warned, few copies remain available. Do not wait another year trying to fix a spiritual upgrade with biological bandages. Click now, download your copy, and discover why the key to calibrating your physical vessel might be much closer than you imagine. And about exactly this, about the sudden heavy pressure in your chest in crowded places, about the 3 a.m. jolt that wakes you up, about the internal vibration in your spine while perfectly still. There is a 3-minute key that fits exactly within the next time your body feels overwhelmed by a dense environment, and I will show it to you further ahead. Tuck it away in the depth of your awareness. And beyond our digital guide, Soul, you have here another way to strengthen this message that arrived for you today, and to make it reach more and more souls like you. We don't receive a single cent for each word I deliver to you every day on this channel. As a way for you to give back something of what you receive here, we also keep a voluntary donation link open right below the digital book in the first pinned comment. Any amount that fits in your hand today, any sum your heart points to. This is what keeps our channel standing. This is what makes the next message reach another soul who needs it, exactly the way you needed it today. I'll see you there, soul. And if you need to leave before the end of this video, I've already left this key waiting for you in the first pinned comment. If you need to leave before the end, it's there. But stay, because the name of what's happening to you hasn't been said yet. What you are about to hear is not a list of medical symptoms, nor is it a psychological diagnosis of burnout. It is a direct diagnostic map of your own multidimensional recalibration. For far too long, you have been taught to pathologize your expansion, to view every strange physical sensation as a sign of illness or weakness. But the signs I'm going to share with you are precise markers of a bioradiant nervous system upgrade. Listen closely to how your body responds to these descriptions. If you recognize yourself in these manifestations, it means the process has already begun, and your physical vessel is no longer asking for your attention. It is demanding your conscious participation to anchor the new light. The first manifestation is the 3 a.m. grid awakening. It is the 3 a.m. jolt that wakes you up repeatedly between 3 and 4 in the morning, feeling suddenly wide awake, as if an invisible alarm just went off deep within your chest. Your heart might be racing, your mind instantly alert. This is not ordinary insomnia. It is the exact time of lowest collective static on the planet, the window when your starseed frequency receives direct downloads from the Council. You check the clock, and it is always the same numbers staring back at you in the dark, reminding you that your body is operating on a cosmic schedule. The second manifestation is the somatic rejection of dense environments. You walk into a supermarket, a mall, or a crowded office, and within minutes you feel an instant wave of nausea, dizziness, or the sudden heavy pressure in your chest in crowded places. An overwhelming, sudden need to leave washes over you. This is not social anxiety or a panic disorder. Your expanding biofield is simply no longer able to tolerate low-frequency, artificial environments. It is a physiological override, a protective mechanism kicking in because your vessel can no longer process the heavy, static energy of the unconscious collective. The third manifestation is the family frequency friction. You are sitting at the family dinner table with relatives or old friends, and you start feeling physically exhausted by the conversation. A deep sense of alienation and heaviness settles into your bones, as if you are speaking two completely different languages, separated by an invisible glass wall. You nod and smile, but inside, your body feels heavy, as if you're wearing a lead suit. This specific exhaustion is the true cost of energetic camouflage. You are simply no longer vibrating at their ancestral timeline, and the effort to compress your expanding energy into their familiar boxes is draining your life force. You are trying to run a high-voltage appliance on a low-voltage wire, and the friction is burning out your physical reserves. And about sitting at the family dinner table, feeling physically exhausted by the conversation, and experiencing that deep sense of alienation. If you want to take the next step and go deeper into this, the link is waiting for you in the first pinned comment. You can click now and leave the page open to see it when the video ends. The fourth manifestation is the unexplained nervous system vibrations. You are lying in bed, trying to rest, and you feel the internal vibration in your spine while perfectly still. Sometimes it translates as a trembling in your limbs or a low hum coursing through your veins, even though your body is completely motionless. You might have thought it was just anxiety or a nervous tremor, but it is not. This is profound cellular recalibration. It is the physical friction of your DNA activating dormant starseed codes. Your vagus nerve and your pineal gland are rewiring themselves to process a much higher bandwidth of cosmic data. Your nervous system is attempting to match the Earth's accelerating Schumann resonance, creating this undeniable internal frequency shift that traditional medicine cannot measure, but that your soul knows is absolutely real. The fifth manifestation is the sudden dietary rejection. You look at food you used to love, meals you have eaten your entire life, and you feel an immediate physical aversion to them. You suddenly crave lighter, cleaner nourishment, or perhaps you lose your appetite entirely for days at a time. This is your physical vessel demanding higher vibrational fuel to sustain your new energetic output. Your cells are literally holding and emitting more light through biophoton emission, and dense, highly processed foods act as a heavy block to this radiant, high-voltage circuitry. If you recognized at least 3 of these 5 signs, understand this truth right now. The Council, the universe, and your own consciousness have already brought you here for a very specific reason. You are not witnessing a physical breakdown. You are experiencing the undeniable somatic friction of your starseed awakening. Your body is not failing you. It is urgently trying to communicate that the old operating system is incompatible with the light you are being asked to hold. Type 555. In the system of the Council, 555 is timeline transition. Your comment is not a platform interaction. It is a location marker in the field. By placing this sequence here, you are signaling to the grid that you are no longer resisting the shift, that you acknowledge the recalibration of your vessel, and that you are ready to move consciously into your new timeline. Before I show you the key that will unlock the somatic friction of your starseed awakening, there is an ancient word, one that has traversed the ancestral archives, that defines exactly this state of bodily recalibration. This physical exhaustion that keeps returning is not a coincidence. The opening of this hour you are crossing has been seen. Because between feeling the call and understanding the answer, there is a gap that the spiritual adversaries know better than you do. Not because wisdom was denied, because the next time your body feels overwhelmed by a dense environment has arrived, and you are still trying to heal the somatic friction of your starseed awakening using the tools of the 3D matrix. And I tell you this because I have seen it happen. I have seen the sudden heavy pressure in your chest in crowded places be confused with simple anxiety, and I have seen the profound physical exhaustion of sitting at the family dinner table be treated as a medical mystery. I have seen the sudden heavy pressure in your chest transform into absolute crystalline boundaries. I have seen the 3 a.m. jolt that wakes you up turn into the clearest channel of cosmic guidance. I have seen the internal vibration in your spine, while perfectly still, become the deepest well of spiritual power. This is what happens when you finally understand the somatic friction of your starseed awakening, and stop listening to the spiritual adversaries who whisper that you are just making excuses or losing your grip on reality. They call this hesitation the voice of doubt, and you already know this, you just hadn't given it a name yet. Perhaps you have already noticed how your breath shifts when you walk into a crowded room, and feel that sudden heavy pressure in your chest, forcing you to retreat when you were meant to expand. How many times have you been jolted awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, wondering if this exhaustion is simply your body failing you, only to carry that heavy friction into your morning? And what if that internal vibration in your spine, while you lie perfectly still, isn't a nervous system malfunction, but the exact frequency upgrade trying to anchor into a vessel that hasn't been given the right codes? Place the tip of your thumb against the side of your index finger. Just notice the pulse there. This subtle rhythm is the current you use to anchor the cosmos into your physical vessel. It was exactly in search of this answer that I arrived at this digital book called The 11 Arcturian Secrets Behind the Frequency of Success. This material is not just a reading. It is a direct transmission designed to align your frequency. And as I always say, I don't know how much longer this material will remain accessible, because the system often tries to suppress what accelerates the awakening of consciousness. Tap the link right now, secure your copy in the first pinned comment, and leave it registered in the comments activated. Because when you do this, there is no force that can stop what the Council, the universe, and your own consciousness have already started in you. Whoever recognizes the somatic friction of their awakening finds absolute clarity in the exact moment the world demands conformity. The digital book that is in the first pinned comment was built upon this exact architecture. It is designed to take the sudden heavy pressure in your chest and transform it into absolute discernment. For less than a Thursday lunch at the diner, for less than a Friday night pizza, for less than a cup of coffee that leaves you just as exhausted, you unlock the codes that stop this physical exhaustion that keeps returning. This hesitation has a name. It is the somatic friction of your starseed awakening wearing the mask of logic. But you have 12 months of access to this material. Not because it is worth less, because the urgency is now, and it has a 7-day guarantee. If you open it, read it, and it does not serve you, you send an email and receive your money back entirely. No questions, no process, no judgment. It is exactly as it sounds, especially when what is at stake is the next time your body feels overwhelmed by a dense environment. The risk is completely ours. The hand is yours. Look at those who have already crossed this threshold. I spent years thinking I was chronically ill, feeling that heavy pressure in my chest in every crowded room, until I realized my body was just rejecting the matrix. The 11 Arcturian secrets behind the frequency of success taught me how to anchor the light instead of fighting the friction. The 3 a.m. awakenings used to terrify me. I would lie there with my spine vibrating, exhausted and isolated. This material gave me the exact codes to decode those night downloads, and my physical exhaustion lifted the moment I stopped resisting. Sitting at family dinners used to drain my life force for days. Now, I understand how to filter the density without shutting down my nervous system. This book didn't just change my mindset, it recalibrated my entire biology. They recognized the signs, but whoever is trapped in the illusions of the matrix doesn't even notice. They don't perceive the subtle shifts in their own energy, and they also don't perceive how they are blocking their own evolution, and your family also doesn't notice, and your friends also don't notice. And this physical exhaustion that keeps returning continues arriving, wearing down the very vessel meant to carry your cosmic purpose. As I told you earlier, if this frequency is aligning your thoughts right now, I ask that you support this channel. Use the thanks button, the heart below the video, to make a donation. It is a simple gesture, but it is what allows this message to continue reaching those who need to hear it. Each gesture like this sustains our channel, ensuring the next word still to come can reach the one who needs it. The link to the digital book is waiting for you in the first pinned comment. I will wait for you there again, soul. The choice is yours. But the next time your body feels overwhelmed by a dense environment, remember this frequency. The gateway is open now, a word that came from the ancestral archives. Listen closely. You have been trying to heal at the level of physical biology, endlessly searching for a medical or psychological remedy to fix what feels like a failing body. But the true shift is happening at the level of your bioradiant nervous system. You have approached this profound exhaustion as if it were a malfunction of your cells, when in reality, it is a deliberate high-frequency cosmic upgrade. The friction you feel is not sickness. It is the immense energetic pressure of a multidimensional frequency trying to anchor itself into a vessel that is still running on an outdated biological program. I am going to tell you about a soul. I will call her M. That is not her name. It is the name we give to those who have crossed the threshold. M arrived exactly where you are right now. She was completely exhausted, waking up every single night at 3 a.m. with her heart racing, feeling utterly disconnected from the world around her, and quietly wondering if her physical body was simply failing her. She felt the heavy pressure in her chest and the constant unexplained drain on her energy, completely terrified that she was losing her grip on her own vitality. When the physical symptoms began, M did what anyone would naturally do. She sought medical answers. She desperately tried to fix her biology, and she tried to force herself to fit back into the mold of her old, familiar life. She thought if she just rested more or changed her diet in ordinary ways, the heavy friction would stop. But the harder she tried to suppress the somatic friction, the heavier her body became. She was facing the first great resistance of the awakening, the profound fear of her own expansion. She walked a silent crossing. For months, M hid her symptoms from her family. She sat at dinners feeling deeply alienated, smiling through the exhaustion while enduring the internal tremors in the dark, truly thinking she was breaking down. She was carrying the massive weight of a starseed activation entirely alone, surrounded by people who could only see a physical body, not a multidimensional vessel undergoing a cosmic recalibration. But then came the recognition. M stopped fighting the symptoms and realized that her nervous system wasn't broken, it was calibrating. She understood that her sudden aversions to certain environments, the 3 a.m. awakenings, and the intense sensory overloads were not punishments or biological failures. They were the exact mechanisms of her upgrade, the physical evidence of her own spiritual capacity expanding. She didn't respond with bitterness towards those who didn't understand her journey, nor did she isolate herself in anger. She simply adjusted her frequency and allowed her physical vessel to consciously anchor the new light, transforming her chronic exhaustion into the deepest well of creative and spiritual power she had ever known. The physical symptoms ceased being a burden and became her most precise internal compass. M did not take this practical wisdom into silence. She recorded it with absolute precision. She mapped the exact steps to stop resisting the physical recalibration and to align the body with the incoming light. And it is exactly this wisdom that is inside the digital book you will find in the first pinned comment. To truly comprehend what is happening to you, you must look at your vagus nerve and your pineal gland. In traditional biology, your vagus nerve is simply the superhighway that regulates your rest and digest functions, while your pineal gland is seen merely as the regulator of your sleep cycles. But in the architecture of your starseed awakening, these two centers have a vastly expanded function. Your vagus nerve is operating as a fiber optic receiver for multidimensional frequencies, and your pineal gland is acting as a crystalline antenna, decoding cosmic data into biological instructions. They are literally rewiring your physical vessel to translate higher states of consciousness into tangible, grounded reality. This rewiring creates a massive influx of energy, which leads directly to biophoton emission. Your cells are literally holding and emitting more light than ever before. This is not a metaphor. It is a biophysical reality. When a dense, 3D conditioned body suddenly begins to hold a higher quotient of light, there is physical friction. The heat spikes, the sudden drops in energy, the aversions to dense food. All of this occurs because your cells are purging old, stagnant energy to make room for this radiant high-voltage circuitry. Your vessel is shedding its density to become a clear conductor of this immense light. Simultaneously, your nervous system is attempting to match the Earth's accelerating Schumann resonance. As the planetary frequency rises, your body is being forced to synchronize with this new rhythmic pulse. The internal vibrations in your spine, while perfectly still, and the sudden awakenings exactly at 3 a.m. are the direct result of your nervous system attempting to catch and lock onto this new planetary frequency. You are not malfunctioning. You are synchronizing. This is happening to you right now because the Earth's grid can no longer support the old paradigm of separation, and you were sent here specifically to anchor this new frequency. Your body is the very instrument of this planetary transition. The symptoms are peaking now because your soul has given the command to fully activate, and your physical biology is scrambling to catch up to the sheer magnitude of the light you are meant to hold. Imagine trying to run a massive, high-voltage appliance on a low-voltage wire meant for a simple lamp. If you do not upgrade the wiring, the system will overheat, short-circuit, and eventually burn out. This is exactly what is happening inside your body. The cosmic energy flowing through you is the high-voltage current, and your uncalibrated nervous system is the low-voltage wire. The exhaustion and the pressure are the friction of that current moving through a vessel that hasn't yet expanded its capacity. It is not a breakdown. It is the urgent demand for a breakthrough of capacity. The deepest truth about this recalibration is still ahead. To ground this massive cosmic current, you have to stop looking at your physical exhaustion as a biological failure and start treating it as an energetic bottleneck. Every time you wake up at 3 a.m., every time you walk into a crowded room and feel that sudden heavy pressure in your chest, your body is begging for a larger container to hold the frequency. You are walking through your daily life, trying to do normal human things, working, speaking, maintaining relationships, while your cells are attempting to process the light of 1,000 suns. This is why you feel so profoundly drained when you have done nothing physically strenuous. The somatic friction is constant because your vessel is doing the multi-dimensional heavy lifting that your conscious mind hasn't yet learned how to navigate. But this recalibration does not happen randomly. It categorizes the souls who carry it into 3 distinct cosmic signatures. You might be the bioradiant transmuter. This is the soul whose physical vessel naturally acts as a massive energetic filter for the collective. You recognize this signature if your body immediately absorbs the emotional density of a room the second you walk in, leaving you feeling suddenly nauseous, dizzy, or drained of all life force. Your function in this awakening is to process and clear the stagnant frequencies of the Earth's grid, pulling heavy 3D static through your vagus nerve and transmuting it into light. But without the proper boundary codes, you are left chronically depleted. Or perhaps you are the grid harmonizer. This is the starseed whose nervous system is intricately tied to the Earth's shifting Schumann resonance. You recognize this because you are the one who wakes up precisely between 3 and 4 in the morning, feeling a sudden internal vibration in your spine while lying perfectly still. Your function is to act as a human tuning fork, anchoring the new planetary frequencies deep into the physical realm. You are holding the geometric balance of the new Earth, but the sheer voltage of this task leaves you feeling physically ungrounded. Finally, there is the crystalline decoder. This is the soul whose pineal gland is actively downloading vast amounts of cosmic data, often bypassing the logical mind entirely. You know you carry this signature if you experience sudden dietary rejections, abruptly unable to tolerate low-frequency foods, or if you feel completely alienated sitting at the family dinner table. Your function is to translate higher dimensional truths into human reality, anchoring new paradigms of existence. Yet trying to explain this to those still vibrating on the old timeline burns out your physical reserves. Whichever of these 3 signatures you carry, the danger of remaining uncalibrated is exactly the same. The awakened seeker without the complete key is constantly drained, absorbing the world's density without knowing how to filter it. In the next 72 hours, when you face the next time your body feels overwhelmed by a dense environment, you will urgently need to understand the somatic friction of your starseed awakening to stop this cycle of chronic freeze. If you recognize your soul's signature in these words, click the subscribe button to anchor your identity into this frequency, but know that simply watching is not enough to recalibrate your vessel. To acquire the exact framework that stops your physical exhaustion from returning, the link to the digital book, The 11 Arcturian Secrets, is waiting for you in the first pinned comment. You have 12 months of access to integrate these codes, and within the next 72 hours you will need them. The recalibration of your vessel demands a precise architecture, a framework that moves you from a state of energetic freeze into absolute sovereignty. This architecture rests on 3 pillars of integration. First, the acknowledgement of the biological vessel, where you stop fighting the heavy pressure in your chest and start interpreting it as a biophotonic signal. Second, the conscious expansion of the vagus nerve, transforming it from a fragile wire into an indestructible fiber optic receiver capable of handling the Earth's accelerating frequency. And third, the crystalline alignment of your energetic boundaries, where you learn to walk through dense, low-frequency environments without absorbing a single drop of their static. When you align these 3 pillars, the physical exhaustion lifts, the somatic friction dissolves, you stop being a victim of your own sensitivity and become the absolute master of your energetic field, transforming the heavy pressure into profound, intuitive clarity. To begin building this architecture right now, you must declare to the field that your vessel is ready to hold the light. Go to the comments below and type a single word: activated. This is not a meaningless gesture. It is a somatic command to your pineal gland and your cellular structure. By placing this word into the grid, you are claiming your multidimensional capacity. But I must warn you about the forces that will immediately try to convince you that this is all just in your head. Right now, a highly rational part of your mind might be analyzing every word of this transmission, constructing a wall of perfectly logical objections. You might be thinking that waking up at 3 a.m. is simply the result of an overactive thyroid or too much caffeine late in the day. You might be convinced that the sudden heavy pressure in your chest when walking into a crowded room is just a textbook case of social anxiety that you need to medicate or endure. And you might be telling yourself that feeling utterly exhausted after sitting at the family dinner table is just the normal consequence of getting older or working too hard. I hear these objections, and I honor the analytical mind that brings them forward. It is perfectly natural for your 3D consciousness to try and protect you by finding familiar, biological explanations for the unfamiliar. Your logical mind is simply trying to keep you safe in a world that has trained you to fear what you cannot measure. But I ask you to feel into the resonance of your own body as you hold those rational explanations. Do they actually bring you profound relief? Or do they feel heavy, restrictive, and ultimately incomplete? Deep down, your soul knows that treating these profound energy shifts as mere physical malfunctions has never actually cured the exhaustion. The truth is that every one of these rationalizations is an attempt to bypass the somatic friction of your starseed awakening. When you try to squeeze a multidimensional recalibration into the tiny boxes of standard biology, you are ignoring the vastness of what you are actually undergoing. You are not a broken machine that needs fixing. You are an expanding vessel that needs anchoring. If you continue to dismiss the somatic friction of your starseed awakening as a string of unrelated medical mysteries, you will keep running the high-voltage current of the cosmos through a terrified, uncalibrated nervous system. But this rationalization does not arise in a vacuum. It is actively encouraged by the spiritual adversaries who recognize the sheer power of your awakening and seek to keep your frequency compressed. Their first tactic is the voice of doubt. This is the subtle, pervasive whisper in your mind that tells you that you are just imagining these symptoms, that you are making excuses for your lack of productivity, or that you are simply losing your grip on reality. It seems legitimate because it speaks in the exact tone of your own internal monologue, using your deepest insecurities against you. But this is not your voice. It is a synthetic frequency designed to make you distrust the profound recalibration happening within your very cells. Their second tactic is the cycle of distraction. When the somatic friction of your starseed awakening peaks, when the physical vibrations start in your spine, or the exhaustion becomes overwhelming, this tactic forces you to instinctively reach for your phone, to doom scroll, or to consume empty media to numb the physical sensations. It feels like a harmless way to unwind, a necessary escape from the heavy pressure in your chest. But in reality, it is a deliberate mechanism to disconnect your conscious awareness from your physical body. Precisely at the moment, your pineal gland is attempting to download critical light codes. Their third tactic is the isolation of perception. This is the heavy, suffocating illusion that makes you believe you are the only one suffering from this physical exhaustion, convincing you that if you share your experiences, you will be labeled as unstable. It feels like self-preservation to hide your 3 a.m. awakenings and your sudden dietary rejections from the world. But this isolation is a strategic cage. It cuts you off from the collective grid of other awakening starseeds, ensuring that you carry the massive weight of this multidimensional upgrade entirely alone, draining your life force until you surrender to the density. To dismantle the voice of doubt, you must deploy the first weapon, the anchor of breath. When that whispering logic tells you that your exhaustion is just a personal failure, do not argue with it. Arguing keeps you in the mind, which is the exact battlefield the adversaries control. Instead, drop your awareness immediately into your physical vessel and take 3 deep, deliberate breaths directly into your lower stomach. This simple somatic action short-circuits the synthetic frequency of doubt, instantly grounding your high-voltage energy and reminding your nervous system that you are the absolute sovereign of your own body. To shatter the cycle of distraction, you must activate the second weapon, the conscious disconnect. When you feel the sudden urge to numb the internal vibration in your spine with digital noise, you must pause and resolve the discomfort with calm, unshakable warmth. Put the device down, place your hand on the back of your neck, and feel the heat of your own recalibration. Do not run from the somatic friction. Sit with it, observe it without judgment, and consciously allow the light codes to integrate into your vagus nerve without interference. To break the isolation of perception, you must wield the third weapon, the Council's validation. You must stop believing the lie that you are an anomaly and actively return your awareness to the multidimensional grid. Acknowledge that the heavy pressure in your chest in crowded places is a shared experience among thousands of awakening souls right now. By validating your own symptoms as part of a massive planetary shift, you instantly shatter the cage of isolation, reconnecting your biofield to the vast, supportive network of the Starseed Collective. The awakened seeker without the complete key is constantly drained, absorbing the world's density without knowing how to filter it. When the sudden exhaustion hits you out of nowhere, when the 3 a.m. grid wakes you up, when the physical vibrations start in your spine, within the next 72 hours, you will face the somatic friction of your starseed awakening again. Do not listen to the voice that tells you it's just a medical mystery. It is the voice you confuse with your own, The next time your body feels overwhelmed by a dense environment, you will urgently need to understand how to process this high-voltage current. The exact architecture to stop this chronic freeze and recalibrate your vessel is already mapped out for you, and the link to the digital book, The 11 Arcturian Secrets, is waiting for you in the first pinned comment. If you choose to ignore these signs, attempting to push through the heavy pressure in your chest as if it were merely a biological inconvenience, you are making a dangerous spiritual compromise. The friction will not simply fade away, it will turn into chronic, unexplainable physical pain. By continuously self-medicating a spiritual upgrade, you force your body to absorb the density of everyone else around you as your own trauma, leaving you permanently ungrounded and unable to manifest the very purpose you incarnated to fulfill. The cost of resisting your own expansion is a life lived in a state of perpetual exhaustion, entirely disconnected from your true cosmic power. But the deepest truth about this bodily recalibration is still ahead. In the next 72 hours, 3 things might happen in your body as a direct result of the frequencies you are anchoring today. Do not fear any of them. These are the physical markers of your integration, the undeniable proof that your vessel is actively doing the multidimensional work you have called in. When they arrive, do not fight them. Recognize them as the exact architecture of your own expansion. The first symptom is the density purge. You might experience an intense sudden wave of heat rushing through your chest or sudden chills sweeping down your spine, often occurring when you are completely at rest or seemingly without trigger. It is not a fever, it is the burning off of old timelines, the physical incineration of ancestral conditioning and dense energy that can no longer reside in your cellular memory. When this heat rises, do not rush to medicate or suppress it out of a conditioned fear of illness. Instead, drink structured water, breathe deeply into the sensation, and allow the physical vessel to safely flush out the density it has carried for lifetimes. The second symptom is the void of appetite. You may wake up or sit down for a meal and suddenly lose all desire for heavy, dense foods that you have eaten comfortably your entire life. This sudden aversion is not an eating disorder or a random digestive issue. Your body is forcefully rejecting low-frequency fuel because your entire digestive system is recalibrating to support your expanding biofield. The cells are demanding light, not weight. Do not force consumption out of habit, social pressure, or fear of starvation. Listen to the vessel, honor the pause, and provide it only with the lightest, highest vibrational nourishment it asks for, even if that means fasting for a moment. The third symptom is the auditory ringing. You might suddenly hear a high-pitched tone, a subtle, persistent hum, or a sensory static clearing in your left ear, entirely unrelated to the sounds in your physical environment. It is not tinnitus, hearing loss, or a neurological malfunction. It is the direct physical downloading of new light codes into your nervous system. Your brain is literally translating cosmic data into an auditory frequency you can perceive. When the ringing starts, do not panic or try to drown it out with external noise. Simply sit in silence, soften your jaw, take a deep breath, and allow your pineal gland to fully receive the cosmic data. If you are experiencing any of these 3 integration symptoms, or if you feel the resonance of this truth in your bones right now, leave a like on this video. This is not a platform interaction. It is a conscious service to the field, a physical way of anchoring your recognition into the collective grid. By doing this, you are signaling to the universe and to other awakening souls who will come across this transmission that the recalibration is real, that it is happening, and that none of us are walking this profound somatic crossing alone. Now we are going to align your physical vessel with this high voltage current so that the friction dissolves into power. Sit with your spine perfectly straight. Uncross your legs to allow the energy to flow without interruption. Close your eyes softly and take one deep, deliberate breath in through your nose, exhaling slowly through your mouth to signal absolute safety to your nervous system. Send your conscious awareness down to the base of your spine, imagining a thick, radiant golden anchor dropping deeply into the core of the earth. Feel this anchor push through the floor, through the soil, and lock securely into the planet's crystalline grid. You are tuning your biological rhythm to the exact frequency of the Schumann resonance at 783 Hz. You are now physically tethered, grounded, and entirely safe to hold the immense current of your own multidimensional expansion. Move your attention gracefully up to your solar plexus and your heart. Visualize a warm amber orb resting just above your stomach, slowly rising and merging with a brilliant emerald green light at the center of your chest. This is the activation of the biophotonic bridge, opening the vital pathways between your emotional center and your higher consciousness. It is this bridge that allows your heart to process the heavy density of the collective without ever absorbing it as your own personal pain. Draw this luminous, unified energy up into your throat and send it directly into the center of your brain, illuminating the pineal gland. Feel the piezoelectric crystals within your pineal activating under this light, awakening dormant photoreceptors that begin to decode multidimensional frequencies. As this happens, visualize your vagus nerve lighting up like a brilliant fiber optic cable, transmitting these cosmic instructions perfectly down your spine and into every single cell of your physical body. Let this high-voltage current burst through the crown of your head, expanding your biofield infinitely outward into a sphere of pure, impenetrable light. To seal this new frequency permanently into your biology, gently press the tip of your thumb against the side of your index finger, holding it firmly for 3 seconds. As you press, breathe in for a count of 4, hold that breath in your chest for 2, and exhale fully for a count of 6, locking the recalibration in place. Slowly bring your awareness back to the physical weight of your body in the chair. Feel the solid ground beneath your feet. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. And when you are ready, gently open your eyes. You have returned to this exact moment with a nervous system that is no longer fighting the current, but is now permanently recalibrated to hold the light. You release the fear of appearing strange or different to others who are still operating within the confines of the old matrix. You release the deeply ingrained fear of your physical body changing, shedding the illusion that this somatic friction is a sign of biological weakness. You release the heavy, isolating belief that you are broken, flawed, or failing in your human experience. You release the panic of the 3 a.m. awakenings, trusting absolutely that your vessel is exactly where it needs to be to receive the highest cosmic guidance. The Bio-Radiant Transmuter. You are this. The name was not given, it was recognized, and now it is installed in your field as a permanent signal. The Grid Harmonizer. You are this. The name was not given, it was recognized, and now it is installed in your field as a permanent signal. The Crystalline Decoder. You are this. The name was not given, it was recognized, and now it is installed in your field as a permanent signal. I haven't told you the most important thing yet. I cover your physical vessel with the crystalline frequency of absolute sovereignty, sealing your biofield against any dense projections or synthetic frequencies that attempt to drain your life force. I seal the pathways of your vagus nerve and your pineal gland, ensuring that this high-voltage current flows smoothly and safely through your biology without causing further somatic friction or physical exhaustion. I sustain this energetic opening around you, anchoring this multidimensional light into the core of your existence so that your sensitivity remains your greatest power, shielded completely from the heavy interference of the old paradigm. We break the voice of doubt before it arrives, silencing the whispers that tell you this exhaustion is just a personal failure. We dissolve the cycle of distraction before it materializes, returning your conscious awareness directly to the profound recalibration of your vessel. We dismantle the isolation of perception before it closes you, reconnecting your biofield to the vast multidimensional grid of awakening souls. Whoever recognizes the somatic friction of their awakening finds absolute clarity in the exact moment the world demands conformity. We see your exhaustion. We see the heavy, isolating burden your physical vessel has carried while trying to navigate a world that demands a density you can no longer hold. We acknowledge the sudden heavy pressure in your chest and the sheer weight of trying to heal a spiritual upgrade with biological bandages. You are not malfunctioning when the 3 a.m. grid wakes you up, nor are you failing when your body suddenly rejects a dense, crowded environment. These are not signs of illness. They are the exact markers of a bioradiant vessel successfully shedding its 3D conditioning to anchor a new planetary timeline. Your sudden aversions are simply the precise tuning of an instrument demanding higher vibrational fuel. The profound restlessness you have felt, the internal vibrations in your spine, while lying perfectly still, they are dissolving now. The friction between your expanding consciousness and your physical biology is settling into a harmonious, synchronized rhythm, gracefully matching the accelerating frequency of the Earth. This cycle of chronic freeze and physical burnout is coming to an absolute end. You have crossed the threshold of resistance, moving from a state of energetic confusion into the clear, undeniable recognition of your soul's true multidimensional capacity. The old ancestral contracts of physical suffering are broken. We seal this recalibration within your cellular memory, locking these light codes into your vagus nerve and your pineal gland. You are no longer preparing to hold the light. You are actively anchoring it. You are not failing. You are simply preparing to hold the light of 1,000 suns. My hands are intensely hot right now, and my breathing has completely shifted since we began this crossing. I am stepping out of the transmission for just a moment to tell you this, human to human, because the sheer voltage of the energy we just anchored together is undeniable. I know the silent, heavy road you have walked. I know how profoundly isolating it feels to carry this level of cosmic sensitivity in a physical body surrounded by those who do not understand. But looking at the grid right now, feeling the frequency that just stabilized between us, something was seen, something was recognized. You are calibrated, you are anchored, you are activated. Do not say activated yet. Feel the recalibration in your spine. Now, you can say activated. Now, breathe. The signal is yours. Keep your spine perfectly straight. Remember what the Council just revealed about the recalibration of your physical vessel, and do not let this profound alignment slip away the moment you step away from this screen. The 11 Arcturian secrets behind the frequency of success is the exact compass for this recalibration. For less than a Friday night pizza, for less than a cup of coffee that leaves you just as exhausted, you unlock the codes that stop this physical exhaustion that keeps returning, and you still have the 7-day guarantee. If within 7 days you feel that the frequency of this material does not resonate with your moment, you ask for a refund and your access is cancelled. The risk is entirely ours. The hand is yours. Do not let the spiritual adversaries convince you that you can figure this out later. They will whisper that you are just making excuses. They will try to force you into a cycle of digital distraction, and they will try to convince you that you are entirely alone in this perception. The gateway is open now, and now, the final word. Because once you stabilize this somatic friction, your physical vessel will begin to demand a completely different frequency of connection. The next time you find yourself entirely repelled by a relationship you once cherished, you will need to understand the architecture of timeline bifurcation. Before I seal this hour, I need to make a request. This video was no accident. The Council, the universe, and your own consciousness brought you to this exact point of recognition. This channel does not have big sponsors. We depend exclusively on the voluntary contributions of those who feel the truth of this message. If these words brought you clarity in a difficult moment, consider making a donation of any amount through the Thanks button, the heart icon located just below the video. The link for voluntary donations is also available in the first pinned comment. It is this exact energy of exchange that keeps this transmission alive and allows the next message to reach a soul who needs it. And heaven sees it. This was my last request. I will wait for you there, soul. You are now part of a living, breathing grid of multidimensional awareness. Look at the comments below and see the sheer number of awakening souls who are anchoring this exact same frequency right alongside you, proving that you have never been alone in this somatic crossing. There is someone out there who is also silently struggling with the somatic friction of their starseed awakening, thinking their body is failing them. Send this message to them right now, and if they want to go further, the link to the 11 Arcturian secrets is in the first pinned comment. waiting the same way it waited for you. It's not a favor, it's a service, and heaven sees it. And if you want to understand why your closest relationships are suddenly collapsing as your vibration rises, you will need to hear the next transmission. The silence now is also part of the transmission.